Welcome to the Stizzy Chronicles. I'm Stizzy, and on this channel I chronicle my life as an RV newbie. Today I'm going to hit you with another DIY project. In this RV, I do not have a lot of electric outlets, or at least not enough outlets in my bedroom, and I'm going to go ahead and add one into the bedroom today. Now, I've already watched a few YouTube videos. I think I can go ahead and handle this upgrade or this modification, but just so we're clear, this is not a tutorial video. In fact, none of my videos are tutorial videos. I may share some information that I learned with you, but I don't really know what the heck I'm doing. I've just powered off the GFCI breaker. We're going to test it again before I start messing with stuff. Make sure there's no power going to it. Go ahead and grab a screwdriver because I already know I need to unscrew some stuff. Alright. You got to make sure ain't no power going through this bad boy. Now, there are some screws that will allow me to see a little bit more of this, but in all honesty, I really am curious about what I would see if I remove these here towels and then take a look at this here. Try to pick this up, lift it up to see what's underneath that. I want to do a combo pack, so we are going to at some point get rid of those screws. But I also want to see what's underneath there. You know, just to make life easy, I guess I should move this stuff as well. So let's go ahead and get ourselves comfortable in the bathroom and make some modifications so we can get this project started. Yeah. Oh, okay. We all cleaned up now. I'm going to try not to knock myself out on one of these cabinets here. Amen. You know, just keep doing this. Okay. We're gonna keep doing that. Alright, so up here, the reason I want to get into this because I know some of the wiring is in this here area of the shelf. And I think that when I actually start fishing the wire through, I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep most of it in this area so it's not seen, and then through the wall on the other side, and then we'll have to figure it out the rest of that once we get to that bridge. Now, there are some slots in here. I can't quite fit my finger to lift up this shelf, and I can also see some really small staples. So we're gonna have to try to get that released. Hopefully it won't be. Never mind. Ain't no point even finish that sentence because it is going to be exactly what I was hoping it wouldn't. It's going to be a bit of a fight. I want to reuse this, so I'm going to try not to break it. It's breaking. You hear the crackles. But I don't want to rip it or anything. Just need to get it to loosen up. I can get this up. Okay. You are free-ish. You're free-ish. Okay, so. Well, dang. That kills that plan. The plan was to run the wire over here, but I guess I didn't think about the big piece of wood that'd be right there. That's making that an impossibility. So it will still. I can run most of it in here, but it's still gonna have to come out at some point. Might be based off where this is attached. I guess there's going to be a stud right around here. So we'll have to figure out which direction we're going to run this cord. I guess this is, I'm going to have to go in and we'll worry about that later. We're not there yet. Let's get to focusing on this outlet, getting it open. I will say it's a little nerve-wracking seeing that these two pieces on the side are both split. I'm assuming that they didn't have time to do a pilot hole to stop that from happening or something. But it is cool to see on this side, we have the power going in and the power going out because we have those other outlets on this thing. So I expected that, but I love that I am seeing it. It is going through that wood. So I think I may be able to still stick with my plan of having it go through the wire that I'm going to add on this side. It's kind of scary though. And maybe we can hide the wire in this area. I don't know. Well, once again, we just got to see how everything plays out. But one thing I know I can do at this point is get this off. One little baby screw. Let's not lose that. And another little baby screw. I'm trying to figure out what's the deal with all this, like, it's like the stuff that I'm used to seeing if a package has arrived. What? That's the fire alarm. I don't know if they connected. I hope not. I hope this not my last video. We're going to take the battery out of the fire alarm. Maybe it almost failed. Maybe it just needs a new battery. Oh, I'm all frazzled. I don't know what that was all about. I had just put the battery back in the fire alarm because it went off randomly. So I'm hoping that that's just an indication that the battery is dying and not that I'm about to die. Come on now. Why am I always struggling with simple things like screws? I need a different screwdriver for the next steps. I got 2 different screws in here, so I'm gonna need 2 different tools to get it out. This one I at least can use this. Alright, so what we now need to do is I'm trying to get a little more. Can't really see the wires, because one thing that I need to do with the wires is see which one is the line coming in and which one is the line coming out, meaning which one is power coming in and which one is going to the next outlet. It didn't give me a lot of space to work with. Now, how do I take this thing off? All right, so line in, load. Okay, tells me. Fantastic. That's beautiful. Now, in the event that you did not know the difference, one of these tools will be used to figure out which of these black and white wires has power going into it. The thing is, you would have to actually turn the breaker back on again, and then you would just simply touch it. And I think you only need to touch one. I can't remember if it's the white or black one, but that'll let you know which pairs has energy or power coming in, essentially what's actually connected to the breaker, and then what's connected to the next outlets going down the line that are all connected to this GCF or a WI. But this is already listed, so we don't have to worry about that. What I'm going to have to do is, I'm of course check my little YouTube videos real quick just to make sure, but I have some Wagos and I can use that, so we'll be able to add an extra load going out of this. Right now, my main thing is I just don't have a lot of extra wire to work with and a lot of movement to work with. I wish I had a little bit more space. There is the option of just taking this box out, and then that may give me a little more wiggle room. All right, one thing I'm going to do to make life easier is the Romex that's connected to the line. I'm going to go ahead and mark that. Draw all over that right now. So I don't get confused. I'm going to just draw it on here. 2 black line under line. Romex colored in black. That's my line. The other one that's not covered in black would be my load. Okay. And I can just start taking these wires out so I can move around a bit. Now they do have screwdrivers that are like specifically for the type of screws that you usually see connected to these outlets. That probably would make life so much easier right now. Oh gosh. Dang. Okay, well, get that cleaned up. Thank you. Let's get a proper screwdriver because this is just not working. Finding the better screwdriver was unsuccessful, so I'm back to using the same one. However, instead of trying to unloosen the line side, which is where the power comes in, I'm going to just work on the load side. I just need to get it out enough to pull these wires out. Alright, we got one out. Dang it. I don't understand why they have these screws in so tight. But you ain't want nobody to touch these things ever again or something? Yeah. How do I get this thing off? I feel like this is ridiculous. I shouldn't be struggling this goddamn on much to get the damn thing off. New day for me, same day for you. So yesterday I actually decided to pause the project because I was running into some issues and I realized that I was going to need to purchase more supplies. So let me catch you up on everything that was happening. So originally I was trying to work with everything while the wire was still connected, and the wire that I had connected was the line wire being the one that supplies power to the outlets. That was connected. However, I was having the hardest time moving everything around and maneuvering everything while it was still in this cabinet. So yesterday this was still connected to the wire. This is the box that was in it, and yesterday I was just having a hard time moving things around. And then I could also tell that the way I had it in there, I wasn't going to be able to get it situated in properly with the wire still connected. Now, before I actually disconnected the wires, a thing that I also did is, in preparation, I was thinking to myself, I currently have 2 Romex wires coming in here. One is the power coming in, the line wire. One is the load wire, the power going to the next outlet on the line. And I did decide to put holes in it. This one was the first one. I was trying to match up this one was originally here. And this was supposed to be for the Romex wire that I'm going to have connected in the bedroom to the outlet that I'm adding. But when I put it there, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put the top back on, this being the top right here. I kind of felt like it was too high, so then I put a second one in. Now, looking back on this is actually going to be unnecessary, because after putting the holes in, I was still struggling with everything inside and the wire still being connected to the outlet. And then I just decided, like, yo, I just need to get this disconnected. Like, I need this out of this little area here. I need to actually hold everything so I can mess around with it. So in order to get the wires off, because I was still having problem unscrewing it, for whatever reason, I just could not get it, these little screws on the side to release. I just couldn't get it. So then I just actually used this here. It has a little area where you can cut wire, and I just cut the wire, just straight up, just chipped it off. So pieces of the wire were still on here, but then it at least allowed me to come get comfortable and then finally mess with these screws so I can get the wire off. Once I got the wire off, that's when I realized some other problems that I was going to run into. So this particular box here is 16 cubic inches. Now this I'm going to explain to the best of my ability, but I don't 100% understand this just yet. So I am going to have some videos in the description, videos that I watched in order to get comfortable doing this project. So if this is something that you plan on doing, or this is something that you want to learn more about, you can at least see the videos that started my search, or videos that were important in my search that may also help you. But with these little outlet boxes and switch boxes, and also what else? Anything, I'm trying to think of some other terms that are used. Junction boxes. The size of the box actually matters. Now, when I was looking for boxes that I was going to use for this project, my main focus was whether or not it was going to fit in the wall. However, the cubic inches that's listed on the actual product means something. In addition to the cubic inches, there's also information that is printed in these boxes that lets you know how many wires can actually fit in this box. So I think they call it like the fill measurements, or fill box measurements, box fill. That's what it's called, box fill. There's codes that need to be followed when it comes to these boxes. Now, a lot of times when it comes to DIY projects, people don't necessarily care too much about code. However, I want to be safe. This RV, if something goes wrong, I'm out of a home, okay? And I'm not finna mess around with that. So I am trying to do my best to be as safe with this project as possible. But this particular box, the size and how many wires are allowed to fit in this box, I can't put the number of wires that I need. So there's already 2 wires going into it, or better yet, we're going to say it this way. There's already 2 Romex cords going into it. I was going to add a third. That's too many for this size box. Okay. The box fill is now being exceeded. The capacity is being exceeded. So I had to go back to the drawing board, not necessarily all the way to the beginning, but I had to just continue to do some more research on this particular project, because I had come across this in one of these videos before, but I hadn't really paid much attention to it. But when I started to plan the next steps in the project, I realized, like, hey, when it's time to add that third Romex in here, I'm gonna have some trouble when it comes to getting the wires fitting here and adding pigtails and adding connecting pieces. It started to get a little overwhelming, which is why I decided to pause the project. But I continued to do my research, and now I have a plan, and I also have the necessary materials to move on with the plan. One of the videos that I watched, they just got a junction box. They just had a junction box where all the wires were going to be connected, and then they had another box just next to it where they were going to add their outlet. So we're going to do that. And this isn't necessarily a standard junction box. This is something that has, like, I honestly, based off how it's written, don't understand what this is technically for, because there's some terms that I'm not familiar with. And then also in this box, it doesn't have the usual breakdown for how many wires that can go in it, like I've seen with this box here and a few of the other boxes that I looked at. But I do know that it's 20 cubic inches. And I also know that this particular box, based off the height, will fit in here, whereas other junction boxes are too thick. They're too big to fit in here. but this is gonna fit. Now this is gonna be slightly, just slightly too big, but my plan here is to get this in here, and if by chance I need a few more, probably millimeters, like it won't be much, in order to get this piece laid down and it laid down flat, I'm just going to get either like some popsicle sticks, some shims, some bumpers. And by bumpers, just think of like when you have a cabinet, that little piece there, I can get something like that. And that could be a bumper that I'll put on the wood that's just here. That'll give it just a little oomph up, and this wood up here is gonna sit on that. So that's my solution in case this box is a little too big. But another good thing about this box in the particular design is with this, I'm gonna just sit it in the cabinet like this, and I will be able to use the sides here in order to drill into the wood that's back here. So that way I know that this thing won't move around when we're traveling. It'll actually be secured properly. So the load wire, which is the wire that's going into the kitchen to the outlet that's in the kitchen, and then down the line there's more outlets connected to it. And then the Romex wire that I'm going to add, which will go into the bedroom, those are going to be in here. And I'm going to get those connected and create a pigtail. That pigtail is then going to go in this box, and it's going to connect to this GFCI. That way, it's still going to be the same amount of wires going into it as when the project originated, the project started, and I don't have to worry about it being overloaded with wires, overloaded with space. You know, I will feel safer with how everything's going. So once again, I would like to give you a better breakdown as far as box fill, but I myself don't 100% understand it. I just understand it enough that I know that 3 wires cannot fit in this box. 3 Romex wires cannot. And when I say wires, I don't mean like the black wire, the white wire, the ground wire. When I'm referring to like the Romex itself, but with that statement, we're also including each of the wires that are inside the Romex. So those are the things that I had to add. Those are the things that I had to adjust. And now we can get back to the project. So at this point, just trying to get comfortable here again. Remember, the power is still off. Everything's off. I never turned it back on. And also, I remember which wire is what because I made sure to label it with a black marker, so I knew it was the load wire. And then once I actually disconnected it from that GFCI, then I was able to actually write on it. So I do have line written on this wire, I have load written on this wire, so I won't mix them up. They won't get mixed up when it's time to reassemble everything. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next couple of steps and hopefully get this done. I mean, in the YouTube tutorials, these things usually take like 15 minutes, but it never takes that long for me. Hopefully we can get this done before the sun comes up. The next step requires power tools. What I want to do at this point is put a hole in the wall so I can start figuring out how much wire I'm going to need. Now, what I have purchased is this wall mounted outlet box. So this is actually intended to just be attached to the wall like so. This will then be, and granted there's going to be wires inside of this, and then you just put your faceplate. Okay, so that's the plan. But I need to figure out where this is going to go in the bedroom. And you know, this wall has been messing me up, but this whole part feels solid. Like this whole area is solid. Then I get down to the bottom, I feel areas where it's not solid. So my guess is the plan to hide the wire and hide as much of this as possible. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of that plan and just expect it to be seen. But, you know, it's okay. Can't hide everything. This is the wire that I have. So I've been calling it Romex, and just as a reminder, that's the name of a brand. But it's just a name that pretty much everybody knows. It's no different than people saying Vaseline instead of petroleum jelly or Q-tips. Like, all those are brand names, but the actual item, if you say the brand, people know what you're talking about. So I'm calling it Romex. However, it's not. This is a brand called Arizona Electrical Solutions. I don't know who they are or anything. However, the reviews were like, it seems fine. They had a length that I needed, which was, I purchased 15 feet, but that was when I still had plans and high hopes of being able to fish most of this through the walls, hide it and everything else. I won't need 15 feet of it, so I'll have some for the next project. But I do need to figure out how much I will need. And in order to do that, that's why I want to move on to power tools and putting the hole in the cabinet here into the wall. I'm going to figure out where it's going to come out on the other side in the bedroom, mount this, fish some wire through, and then that'll give me an idea of where to start cutting things.
Oh, you know we were meant for this magic, but living in the moment, feeling ecstatic. And if the night gets cold, let's turn up the heat, yeah. With every beat we feel, the night could be surreal. Could be surreal. When the beat drops down low, let it pull you in real close. Are you down for it? Tell me, are you down for it, boy? And when the lights get low, let the shadows steal the show. Are you down for it? Tell me, are you down for it?
Now that I have my outlet box mounted, I have some of the Romex going through, and I made sure to leave enough to work with it when it's time to put the receptacle in. And just to make sure when I'm moving around in the bathroom, I don't move or shorten that Romex on the other side. I made like a U shape so it shouldn't move too much. And right now I'm just kind of getting an idea of the track that it's going to follow once it's inside the cabinet before I cut it. And I want to make sure there's enough left so if any changes that need to be made, any modifications, I'll still have Romex to work with. This seems like more than plenty. If I was to cut it around here, there should be plenty to work with once it's inside this blue box. To cut it, we'll be using this tool here. And I have another tool to actually strip the wire when it's time to do that. If it's enough, it's enough. There should be enough. There should be enough. That was heavy. Okay. And since I still have this in here, it doesn't hurt to maybe put a little label on it to help in the future. I'm gonna put BR load, so bedroom load. So if I need to identify wires later on, at least we got some labels already on it. BR load. Can use the same tool to knock one of these out. So in total, we're gonna have the load from the kitchen coming in. So we're gonna knock one of these out. We're gonna have this one that I have from the bedroom. I'm gonna knock that out, and then a third one will need to be knocked out because that's gonna essentially be my pigtail that's gonna feed into this box with the receptacle in here. Now let's figure out which one we want to do though. Now, these two, I'm going to go ahead and use some connectors. I'll probably be able to cut this more, actually, now that I see how much I have in here. I'm going to use some of these connectors to make my pigtail. So, a black and a black will go in here. Then I'll get an extra piece, which will be a black. Bring that out. White and a white will go in here. Extra piece of white. That'll come out. The grounds, which are my coppers, both will go in here. Then I'll have a copper coming out. Those pieces are going to come out of this blue box into this gray box. And that's what I'm going to connect this to. That's what's going to be connected to this. That's the plan. Let's hope it plays out as easy as it sounds. Now we just need to... we can start cleaning up this wire. This still looks nice and clean because this is new, but this is what we were working with earlier. Since this is now going to be moved over, we can actually just get rid of all this extra, and we're going to get rid of all this and start fresh. cool thing with this, when I get to stripping the wire, it kind of gives me a guide. There's an actual guide to let me know how much I need to make this connection work. See, just on the back here, I'll use this actual connector. It has almost what I would call a ruler on it. So that was so nice of them. The counter's going to be the easiest so far. And this is clear, so I can actually see through it to make sure that it is as far and it's in there seated properly. Put it in, you do your wiggle test. Wiggle test. So those two, we're starting the process. Now to figure out where I'm going to cut, I'm going to use this guide here. It's 14 gauge and it is solid. So there's an option for stranded. You will put it based off, you know, if you have stranded wire. Mine's a solid wire, as you can see from this piece here. Use this to measure. Now we gotta get our pigtail. That's what it is. Our pigtail wire in here. Make sure I got plenty to work with in the box. Then I got plenty outside the box. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut down below here. We can go ahead and label it for future reference. Pig tail. That little bit of information might come in handy at some point. At this point in the process, I'm getting excited in my mind. I should be nearing the end of the project. However, I jumped the gun. So one of the things that I'm having to do is redo the connectors. I should not have added them before adding the pigtail. I want to keep the wires as organized as possible because once it's time to push them into this blue box, they are copper wires, so they are going to fight me. After some finagling, I was finally able to get this in there with all the wires. I did also manage to get at least one baby screw in there. Hopefully that'll keep it still. This little compartment here, which is going to hold the receptacle, is secured. We have our pigtail and then our wire coming in with energy. So now we need to get this cut and stripped, as well as this. We're going to get that cut and stripped again. And then we're going to start attaching it to the GFCI. This is the official disclaimer. The energy is going to shift. With this project, it has lasted longer than I anticipated. My off days are nearing their end. I now need to work on my regular schedule. I had to fight wires. I had to fight screws. I had to fight the circuit breaker finder. I've had multiple trips to the store. I had to order some things online. I had to rewatch videos. I had to find new videos. I am tired, and this project is still not done.
Another new day for me, same day for you. Okay, now I'm starting to get agitated
because the tutorial that I watched on how to get this done was probably about 25 minutes. This is like day 3 or 4 of me trying to get this dang on outlet in the damn bedroom. I'm getting agitated now. Actually, I'm already agitated. Tired of this. I just want it done. So, if you've been with us this far, please like and subscribe. Here on the Stizzy Chronicles, what I try to do is show you what life is like in an RV. Now, I know there's channels out there where people travel all the time and they're always on the go. Not this channel, okay? We ain't got it like that. This is how I RV, okay? And right now, I'm stationary, living and working on a ranch. That's all fantastic. It is. And I'm trying to get as many of these DIY projects done now while I'm still on the ranch. I'm just trying to get everything done, get these boxes cleared out, and finally have the RV customized. And quite frankly, I'm remembering why it took me so long to get to the DIY project in the first place. See, I'm tripping on my words now. I'm just, let's just get started. So what I had to do was I stopped yesterday at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't get the outlet to work with me. Screwing it on and getting the wires in, it just wasn't happening. So then I just went out, got another one that was $22. Getting one of them things, a good $22. And I'm trying to convince myself so I feel better. Like, well, maybe the reason it was giving you so much problems because it needed to be replaced, and by you buying a new one now, you'll be safer. Or it's just an agitating ass project. Pardon my language. Anywho, what we gonna do today, okay? We're gonna go ahead and put the new GFCI QRWYZ outlet on. It's gonna work perfectly because it's a new one. We're gonna pop those wires in. Then the bathroom's gonna be pretty much set. Then from the bathroom, we're gonna move out into the bedroom, which is where I am now. And then we're gonna put on the new regular outlet, the receptacle, and it's gonna be smooth sailing. And we should be done before midnight. I have to create the scene so everything in here know what the plan is. So let's get to it. This is our new receptacle out. GFCI. I wonder how many times I've said this thing correctly. At least once, that's for sure. I got it right that time. So this is the new one. This is the old one. And this one is just when it comes to these screws and getting it connected, this is what's giving me trouble. I had a hard time getting the line wire out when I first started the project. And I mean, it took me a while off camera to get the wires out. And now that I'm trying to get it back in, I'm having trouble. So, going new. Why this shit ain't straight? Well, I don't understand why it's... How? What's going on? What is going on? Like, how is it looking like that? Flushed on one side, completely off on the other. What's happening? What's happening? why is this not in the tutorials? Like, why am I having this issue? Nobody else had this issue where they could have explained why you would see something like that when you're trying to get your little receptacle together. Nobody thought to mention that in their video. They 25-minute video. I don't understand how it could be so crooked. Even with all this struggle, I'm still not paying $200 an hour for somebody to do this. Okay? Still not doing that. Don't even bother to suggest it. Just rather be sitting here pissed off and struggling and save my little dollars for something else that needs be crooked. I don't even care at this point. Just look at that. Just terrible. How? I just wish somebody could explain the how. It's in there. As crooked as it want to be. Lopsided as all hell. Don't know why. At this point, don't give a goddamn. Okay? It's just gonna have to be like that. Ain't nobody looking at this in the bathroom any damn way. You should be taking a shit. Being on your phone or something. Well, I'm happy to report after a crash out and watching another YouTube video on how to actually fix it. When you find that your receptacle is not square, it was the tension of the wires behind the receptacle that was the issue. I found the video. I am going to link it in the description along with the other videos that I've been using to get through this project. So if you run into that issue, you'll understand why. Now, I realized from the angle you probably couldn't actually see what was going on. But what was happening is like this side was flush and then this side was just coming out. So I had a little bit of receptacle shown on this side and a lot on this side. But I just had to fight the wires some more. That took a long time too, by the way. But we're good now. We are good now. And we can finally move into the bedroom. All right. Last receptacle that needs to be installed. Please keep it simple. Oh, no bull. No BS. Okay, so we got a little black one here. Just a simple receptacle, not the special one that'll trip. Let's see what's written on the back here. What we got. So it does still have the same information. White wire is going to go right there. Black wire is going to go right there. We got our ground wire goes here. All that stuff's on the back. So, you know, it helps us. And it also shows me how short or how long I need to actually clip the wires. So all the same stuff. Let me start bending this in now because I was struggling with that with the other one. Getting the wires in there. Just go ahead and push you back now. Make it easy for me, please. We on there. We squared enough. We squared enough. Okay, we gonna say that. Now, are we done? That's the question to ask. So we got to go ahead and turn the power back on to this breaker. We'll go ahead and put this in. If we get two lights, two of these orange lights, and we know that everything is wired correctly. Cross your fingers. As you can see, the RV looks crazy because of this project and all other projects we've been working on. Get to the box here. Dang, can't even reach it. Can reach it enough. All right. Power's on to that breaker. I see a light. That's a good thing. Do I need to reset this? Reset. Do I want that light on? Hold on, let's find out. Oh, baby. Yes, we got 2 lights. That means it's wired correctly. Okay. Let me make sure. Test it. All right, so red light means it's been set. We know that. Let me just make sure it's okay. That's good. It's in test mode. No lights. That's good. Let me go reset it again. All right, go back. All right, so that's correctly wired. Now let's go to bedroom. Now this is the one that we've been working on. Let's see. Correctly wired. This project is almost done. Thank goodness. Look at that. All right. Okay, I'll just keep testing, just make sure. Now, after 525,600 minutes, this project is close enough to being complete. There are a few things that I still will need to do, such as finding a way to clean up these wires and then also finding a way to properly mount my streaming device. But I am finally happy, finally smiling. The wires are no longer a trip hazard. Even though you can see them, they're not necessarily in the way. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you're enjoying these DIY videos, let me know in the comments. If there's some videos that you'd like for me to bring to the channel, also let me know in the comments. Keep in mind, I'm a solo RVer. I live full-time in this bad boy, and currently I'm stationary, living and working on a ranch. I will get back on the road at some point, so of course you'll have more adventures coming up. I definitely have more DIY projects coming up. And I will see you next time.